Deep thoughts from the forest. I found a patch of sunlight in the forest, and I'm just taking it in. The sun is an amazing light, and there is really a lot of interesting things about this luminary. And the benefits in each sign, if you imagine a wheel, tropical astrology wheel in the sky, you can see the different placements of the sun. And that each angle of light, which are angels of light, has a frequency and harmonic. And as it hits our bodies, we take it in and turn it into these necessary minerals, because we are water and minerals. So we are these electric beings too, and this light is really beneficial for our health. And this is like old knowledge kind of being reintroduced to counter some of the new age understanding that has lost the values that the sun and moon provide. It gets into more to moon worship, and less of an understanding of it. It's a frequency. And then when sun and moon are out together, there's a certain frequency, like a harmonic. There's like a tune being played that we can receive. And then it depends on the season we're in. Like now we're in Aquarius season. So that's the angle of light. The angel of light is coming from an Aquarian angle. And that is giving us qualities of the Aquarius light before we move into Pisces, which will have a different quality of light. And there are minerals for each sign, like Aquarius is nat myrrh. Nat myrrh is like table salt. Nat myrrh is the homeopathic cell salts. And there is a cell salt for each sign that goes along with each mineral. And you can really balance your system through balancing the minerals in your body, because we are these electric beings. We have a field of energy around us, the toroidal field. And everything has a toroidal field, if you can imagine. All the trees, everything has this hyperbola, the center channel, the jed pillar, and it goes out and it's moving. And there's always kind of a polarity happening with electricity and magnetism. The red shift, blue shift, the red blood vessels, the veins, the blue veins in our bodies. There's always this dynamic of opposites that's happening. As there is this dynamic of opposites in the outer world, it reflects the inner world. And that's kind of what keeps everything going, is this dynamic action. That's why I really am focused in the healing work I do with others, just like helping people to understand the layers of this reality. It's not just what we've been taught. You know, I'm someone who just came out of the womb with questions. I was always questioning everything, and I still question. And then things happen that make me even more curious, like, well, why is that happening? And why would they do this? You know, the controllers of this reality, or the so-called controllers. There's a lot of illusions to pierce through. And when you start being curious, even, you know, starting with cosmology, I was starting to look at, like, is there a 13th sign? Is there, and this is the New Age. The New Age, there are 13 constellations. There are many constellations, but this system of observing the sun and moon to help place us in this reality, it's a number system, it's a geometric system, and it is a physical system that is constantly in motion. There's a constant ebb and flow, and it's deep. It really goes deeper and deeper, and in the learning, if you can expand beyond the things we've been told, there's so much that opens up. Now, I've studied different people who are, you know, just really into the old books, and the old books tell us a lot, because they tell us the energy of the times they were living in. And I'm reading a book, the Salts of Salvation, the Tissue Salts of Salvation, and it's amazing. It goes through all the astrological signs, and there's a lot of characteristics in the astrology and the way they saw it and the way they related it to health and the different minerals, that is so enlightening, and it's real, and it's like this system is divine because it can give you a lot of information about the self and how to take care of yourself. And it also looks at disease as deficiency in these minerals. So, you know, and they actually are laughing and making fun of, they're not laughing, but they're making fun of doctors and like all the names for diseases. You know, if you get a splinter, do you have splinteritis? You know, there's all these like strange, elaborate, intricate names for all these diseases, which really have to do with mineral deficiency and also trauma and drama, lineage, you know, traumas carried through, and then different astrologies, like some people are more porous in their minds than others because they have, you know, like Aries relates to the brain. Well, and if you don't have the minerals, you'll be grinding your teeth at night, and also, you know, pulling in information, and you can get really overrun with information. And then, you know, voices come in, you may hear voices, you may be more clairaudient than others. So there's just a lot of things that relate to these salts and keeping ourselves balanced and keeping ourselves healthy. And it's not as complex as, you know, some of these modern solutions for disease that we have in our allopathic medicines. Now, I see why homeopathy was the primary way and means, along with herbalism, and energy, just straight energy work, were more primary before allopathic medicine took over. And I see why, because they understood and were really in touch with that we are vibration. And this gets into the toroidal field, why we respond to homeopathic ways of healing and herbal ways is because it's vibration. You're taking in the vibration of the plants. So that is mixing with your vibration and creating an alchemy. So it's really, it's sad that it's been lost and also just labeled and mislabeled and misunderstood through intentional efforts for greed, to make money, to, there's always this outer element that wants to control and make money and profit off people. There's always that. Now, I also really talk to people a lot about how this reality, you're never going to it's never going to be good for perfect, There's always going to be these negative elements and forces because it's a part of the toroidal experience. Is there's positive and there's negative. Negative, was seen as feminine, but also dark. It wasn't seen as a necessarily bad thing, but we are dealing with a polarized existence. And so what the old books say is that you go in to create your own good foundation, and then you show up and help. And you show up in a fully aligned way that is beneficial. And I think some of us think, no, the world's supposed to, be right at some point, and it may not. It may never be right. It may never, be totally positive. And we can't rely on that. What we need to rely on is our own internal process and unraveling all the stuff we've learned and taken on, because it's all in the field. And I've done years of clearing ceremonies, intentional work with my ancestors and really getting clear. And now it's I'm open because I don't have all this other stuff that's weighing in my system, in my toroidal field. I have a centered, balanced feeling every day, no matter what happens, because I have cleared up some of the energies that have been around me that may have just, I've picked up here and there, and I've picked up through my own experiences and traumas. And, there's a lot we're exposed to because we are open energy systems. And so we're always mixing with the energies here. And the energies here are multi-layered, multi-dimensional. There's dark forces, light forces. There's angels, fairies, spirits of the forest. There's a lot of energy lines of the earth. There's nodal points, chakra points. We're in a living being. So there's a toroid around the earth. And so there's a lot of energy moving constantly. And nothing changes more than the past. We have forgotten a lot of the knowledge. And then people, with social media, people pick up, and there's just a lot of information coming through different people. And people are being elevated. If you're following someone who's got, 6 million followers, well, guess what? They're being elevated. This is not just an organic situation. And there's also, through time, in this reality, there's always a psyop, counter-psyop. There is an effort to just create people and and division in people and sending them into different camps. So they'll be fighting each other and not focused on those who are really trying to pull the puppet strings. So we have to recognize when we're being, encouraged to hate the other because they're not whatever. I posted this thing with Zuckerberg, this little head that pops up on your phone and he's looking at you when you're scrolling too much. And it's like, I don't want to hate this guy because he's doing his thing and he is propped up by, our government. So it's a whole thing. And, I'm not going to be coerced to hate people that I don't know, and he just bought land here, I guess. And, I lived in Kauai when he was there. It's just people love to join in and and I did it too. So, but really, he's just doing his thing and living his reality. And this is the thing: it's like there's a million ways to perceive this reality, and we have an organic intelligence already. There's whole AI, blah, 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 AI, but really we have an OI, an organic intelligence already, that's listening to everything that we think, and it's paying attention to our actions. And I can't tell you how many people I follow, cat's climbing a tree, that I follow that just whoa, they just start on this quest for a certain thing and get focused and they find it because it's all there. This literally, if you start looking for something and focusing on it, you will get that. You will get it. And then what we don't get often is that we're manifesting all the time. Everything we say into the ether, which is what connects us all here, is being reflected to us. So we live in this reflective reality, and it's very magical. But if you think it's all doom and gloom, then it's going to be all doom and gloom, and you're going to align with all that. So you have to really be aware of our thoughts. What are our thoughts? What are you thinking now? And then when you go into, when it's all good, you're probably thinking good and manifesting everything. But what happens when it's not good? How do you get out of that? How do you redirect your thoughts and counter the things that you've been programmed to think about this reality? Because yes, the earth is dying, and yes, the earth is living. There is so much happening here all at once. So, and there's some really smart people that have invested a lot of time into understanding the cosmos and our environment and our health and our well-being and the nature of this reality. And it's really amazing to explore that because it's not just what we've been told on a lot of levels. And it's okay to not know. You're better off not knowing than knowing, I think. So, of course, this is all just ramblings of a midlife mermaid in the forest with her kitty. But, we have a lot of power in our everyday lives to tune in to our own thoughts and our own situations and alter them, alchemize. And boy, I work with shapes. Shapes change the energy of people's bodies. A spinal shape can change the energy of the nerves of each vertebrae. That's the power of this reality. Everything is a vortex. Everything is spirals. And this is why these are the oldest symbols you find, a spiral. It's a symbol for the vortex. That's why sacred geometry is actually a tool in this reality, because it is a geometrical, mathematical situation we live in, which isn't the way, they portray it in the Matrix and other movies, and they take it and put it into a computer. This is nature. Nature grows in a spiral. Nature moves in a spiral. If you watch the sun and moon, they're moving in spirals. They're making angles and shapes. So it's Venus makes a path of a flower. So there's just a lot of tools we can use. Sacred geometry isn't just for hanging on the wall. It is actually something you use. The stars are very clearing. The different shapes are like sigils, and they really can help us clear and keep clear, keep our energy fields clear space. I do this practice from Ibrahim Karim it's called the net, and it's ancient, because they knew that we lived in a web or a net of energy, and that's why the nature spirits are called netters, because they're nature spirits. Before they were gods and goddesses, they were just spirits of nature that had mastered this reality. And that's part of showing them as part animal and part human, because they had mastered the understanding of animal nature. And this clearing with the net is like a grid. And it's, you imagine, because you don't even need an actual thing. You imagine it. You visualize it. And that's the power too, these visions. These brains are amazing. What we are tending to use them for just harm or obsession or disturbance. It's like, really, they can be so amazing. They can be utilized to, I go to bed thinking about something, and I wake up the next day understanding it through sleep, through the dream time. So there's just lots of ways to uplift yourself here. And it's all about your will and intent. If you are intending to focus on lower vibrational things like gossip and putting people down to elevate yourself, that's what you'll get. It's creating that reflection. But you could also use this brain to learn how to integrate both hemispheres, and to learn about some of these amazing tools that we can use here. And physics is the vibration of this reality is amazing. And I only know this because I've been on the other side, and I don't like that just purely materialistic reality. It doesn't appeal to me, and I know there's more to it. And it ends up feeling like you're being gaslit all the time, because you're like, wait a minute. No, there actually is a lot of magic here. And there is a lot of possibility and potential. But it's about your perspective, your perception, because we are fooled by our eyes if we are not open to seeing what is right here in front of us. But it takes tuning in, and it takes clearing up the old stuff so you have the space to take in new stuff. So this has been my path, and now I'm offering this work I do with the biogeometry and astrology and the cosmos and this reality to help people, get on track with their destiny and purpose. Because we all have a destiny and purpose, We all have something we're meant to do here and overcome. So, you know, if this appeals to you, then reach out to me. And I would love to work with you. And this work is just as effective remote as it is in person, because we are fractals. One part of you in a photograph represents the whole. This is why these old elders from the forest don't want their photos taken, because you can use it to, you know, you can use it for good or harm. So these old understandings, you know, this is why, because of the physics of this reality, that we leave traces of ourselves everywhere. And we are, like in the Mandelbrot set, the one part of us mirrors the whole. I hope you have the best day, and thanks for, if you're watching, thanks for watching. I'm not really super high tech or just expanding, want to reach everybody, but you know, I want to reach the right people that need to hear this, because there's a lot going on here, and it's really amazing when you can get past all the other stuff, all the filters.